one life. It's up to us to make it exactly the life we want it to be. How much time is going to be necessary? We're going to be looking at how to make your dream life into a reality. Hello everyone, and thanks for joining me today. My name is Alex Cook, and my mission is to put valuable tools into your hands to help you achieve complete financial freedom. In this series of Forging Your Future with the End in Mind, we're going to be looking at how to make your dream life into a reality. Now, in the previous session, we looked at creating your eulogy, and that helped you to find life objectives. It sounds like a morbid topic, but if you know what you want the end to look like, what you want your life right at the end to look like, it's far easier to then work back from that ideal end objective right to today to figure out what's going to be done to achieve that end result. Today, we're going to be looking at how to make your dream life into a reality, and we're going to be looking at achieving that with a combination of time, income, and capital. In the next section, we're going to be looking at the inside out rule, and that will look at how do we generate the time, capital, and income using 3 different plans: safe plan, comfortable plan, and a rich plan. So let's hop into it. Making your dream life into a reality intentionally, not by accident. I started off this slide by writing the ultimate balance, and I realized that's not true. It's not a balance, it's a prioritization, because all the money in the world without time and you are not wealthy. All the time in the world without money and you're not wealthy. True wealth is the right combination of time and money that empowers you to achieve your ideal eulogy, your ideal end state, what you want your life to truly look like. Let's look at high-level steps to prioritize successfully. How do you prioritize time, income, and capital? First of all, determine your life objectives. Figure out what you want from life. What do you want life to really look like? Then determine and allocate time to have that ideal life. Then figure out how much income you need to determine all of those objectives. Figure out how much capital you need to determine all the objectives. Let's delve into each one of these in slightly more detail, unpack them a little bit, and go into a worked example. Starting with objectives. How do you figure out your objectives? Start out by writing your eulogy. Review it and determine what the high-level big themes are. You might figure out that travel is really important to you. Being with family is very, very important. Having time with people you love, having a big friendship circle might be very important. So identify those big themes. Distill those big themes into high-level objectives. So think about the very big objectives that you have and what key results need to be true to make those big objectives a reality. And then figure out what actions need to be taken in order to make those key results a reality. So the whole concept of OKRs was introduced to me by a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, David Jacobson. And it wasn't really his concept. It's a concept that was founded by business genius Peter Drucker and then made famous by Andy Grove at Intel and then later John Doerr at Google. And the whole idea is, first of all, define what you want your big objectives to be, then figure out what key results need to be true to make sure those objectives come true, and then what actions are necessary to make those big key results a reality. You've got your objectives. Underneath the objectives are the key results. Underneath the key results are actions. Actions make the key results come true. Key results that come true will result a life objective coming true. I'll give you a worked example. An objective for me, a high-level life objective, is to live with an abundant mindset with all desired adventures and experiences. 2 key results for this year, 2024, are to first of all go on all planned breaks in 2024, and second of all, to buy a family home close to schools. I'm really going to be focusing on the go on all planned breaks throughout the rest of the presentation, but there are a few different key results to this high-level objective for my life. What actions need to be taken to make these key results come true? Well, for the first one, map out all breaks, list all desired adventures and experiences, and then align those to a budget. With regards to buying a family home, it's decide on an area, decide on a budget, and then start contacting agents. And there are a few other actions that are listed out. But you can see it becomes a very structured approach to achieving success. It doesn't happen by accident. Very little in life ever does happen by accident. As we are going through sort of turning a business from being a relatively small business to being a reasonable sized business, I realized that a part of the reason for the success was the implementation of these OKRs, where we successfully turned objectives into reality. I thought to myself, now, if we're doing this for a business and it's working well for a business, why don't we adopt the same intentionality to our personal lives? And that's when I started about 4 years ago, mapping out what I want my life objectives to be.
and then what key results are going to be necessary to make those objectives come true. So that's how I started applying objectives and key results to my personal life.
Let's take a look at time. So we want to allocate time required to achieve the key results. How much time is going to be necessary? Be sure to include the time required to achieve the actions. Let's go into a worked example. The key result was to go on all planned breaks in 2024. What are the actions from a time perspective? Well, I know that I need to map out all breaks. I need to list desired adventures. I need to prepare a budget. I need to plan the trips. Then I need to go on the trips. So in total, 2 hours plus 4 hours plus 12 hours plus 12 hours plus about 480 hours equals about 510 hours. So I know that in my life, I need to allocate 510 hours to achieve this key result. All right, so it's starting to make sense coming together.
I know it does seem a little bit OCD, it does seem a bit crazy, but this kind of work is really a part of the 20% that's going to result in 80% of your happiness and your life's purpose. So put the effort in, it's worth it.
Let's take a look at the income required. Now, we need to allocate the income required to achieve the key results, and we also need to be sure to include the income required from the actions, because there might very well be income required to achieve the actions, not just the key results. So the key result, once again, go on all planned breaks in 2024. The actions from an income perspective are go on all the trips, and we'll break each trip down one by one. Trip 1, trip 2, trip 3. So 10,000 plus 30,000 plus 80,000, 120,000. Okay, I know I need to allocate 10,000 Rand per month to go on all my desired trips.
The one unintended consequence that I glean from putting objectives and key results in place for my personal life is that I started becoming really relaxed about everything, because I knew that whatever I decided I wanted to achieve was going to be achieved because there was a plan.
Now let's look at capital, because it's not just going to be about the money on the trips. We might need to plan expenses before we go on those trips. So allocate the capital required to achieve those key results. Once again, be sure to include the capital required on the actions. That might also be necessary. The key result, save, go on all the planned breaks in 2024. The actions would, from a capital required perspective, look like this. So for trip number 2, I know that I need to buy a vehicle. I don't have a vehicle that's able to do the trip I want to do. Then I need to buy equipment for trip number 2 as well. 400,000 required for the vehicle. The equipment for trip number 2 is 50,000. So in total, I need to allocate around 450,000 in capital in order to make these trips a reality.
When I first started putting these OKRs in place for my life, it was disorganized, it was a total mess. But what started materializing was really good structure. It just didn't happen all at once. The first iteration was terrible. But what happened is it did get better and better. And then I ran that iteration past a coach of mine. The coach looked at it and said, well, why don't you think about doing things slightly differently? And then over time, it formulated into the OKRs they are currently, and they are still iterating. I'm still improving on them every single month because I review them on at least a monthly basis.
Remember, you have one life. We all have one life. It's up to us to make it exactly the life we want it to be. And this starts with, first of all, figuring out what that life must look like. If we don't know what the life looks like that we want, we're definitely never going to get there. So determine your life objectives, then figure out and allocate time required to achieve those life objectives, determine the income required to achieve those life objectives, and then determine the capital required to achieve those life objectives.
One of the most interesting things about doing these life OKRs is that the idea of just generating money became less and less important, where money was just a ticket to achieve certain things that I want to achieve for myself, my family, and people I love.
In our next video, we're going to be looking at the inside out rule. And this is really a mechanism to help you achieve complete financial freedom that much quicker and get that income required and get the capital required to make your dream life a reality. It all starts with your safe plan. From there, you can start focusing on your comfortable plan, and only then can you start focusing on your rich plan. That's the end of today's session. If you found this really, really bad, don't share it. But if you found it in the least bit interesting, useful, you think others might benefit from it, then please like, share, and comment on the video. Thanks for joining me. Cheers for now.
As a reminder, this is the second of a 3-part series titled Forging Your Future with the End in Mind. In the next exciting video, what we're going to be doing is figuring out how to achieve that level of time, income, and capital by making 3 plans: your safe plan, your comfortable plan, and your rich plan, and working from the inside out. Click on this link right here and you'll be taken directly to that video.